Sup, Nerdmigos? I'm the Jive Talking Nerd, John Norgrove. We've got a wife here. We're here for another review, Jive. So last night, we watched the new movie on Netflix. Newer movie on Netflix. Came out this year. It's called Eurovision. And also it's called Fire Saga. But more importantly, its full title is Eurovision Song Contest, The Story of Fire Saga. It's starring Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams, and they play, like, Icelandic pop, Euro techno
pop star kind of
like people,
but they're like
not
trying
famous. They're
to
not,
like
this is not
get famous.
They're just like two assholes in a small village, and nobody in the village likes them. But their dream is to become the Eurovision star, which is sort of like The Voice,
like,
but they were very
like
angry about that comparison
like
in the movie.
Something's Got Talent or whatever.
It's like one of them talents or voices or what have you. And so like their dream is to win that, and then this is like the shenanigans as they go through their dreams. This movie is
hilarious.
Really funny. With the aside that I feel like this movie's like a fucking little bit racist against literally everyone. Mostly Icelandic. They're from Iceland?
Yeah.
Mostly Icelandic people. Like 90% of the racism is them making fun of Icelandic people.
Yeah.
I feel. But I also feel that, like, the German guy is, like, very German. And, like, the Russian guy is, like, very Russian. And, like, the Americans are fucking the worst
very
tourists.
American, yeah.
You know? And so, like, I feel like there's a lot of that shit, but it's not, like, derogatorily. It's just that the whole show is centered around, like, each country gets a participant in Eurovision, and so each country's participant is sort of like the most that country can be. You know? It's weird, because the whole movie, like, and especially in the beginning, I'm just like, is this, like, really not nice to Icelandic people? I mean, they're really leaning in on this one. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, it's funny, and honestly, like, fucking cares. They're, like, country stereotypes. I mean, the Russian guy, like, that he's the fucking best. Holy shit, he's the best. Pierce Brosnan is in this?
Yeah,
also,
Pierce Brosnan...
Let's just start from the very beginning here.
Has evolved into, like, a hard silver
Pierce
fox.
Brosnan has only gotten hotter with time. He is bang up in this movie.
Well, he looks
basically really fucking
he's
good.
basically doing the Sean Connery thing.
He really is. He really
was
is.
James Bond when he was younger, and that was cool because he was like all suave and whatever.
Sean Connery was James Bond when he was pretty old.
Sean Connery's been like the same age for like most of his
What's that one where he's in that little like one-piece red thing? Xanadu? Is that Xanadu?
I don't know.
No, she doesn't watch old movies.
I do watch old movies.
Not that old.
Don't know.
The old sci-fi one where he's just in like rubber straps, sexily shooting ray guns and stuff.
Regardless, he's doing like the Sean Connery thing where the older he gets, like the more silver fox he becomes.
Yeah, he looks like surprisingly. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like this is the first thing I've seen him in a fucking long while.
Yeah,
so
or
like maybe I missed some shit, but he was also hilarious in this. He did a fucking amazing job.
Yeah, he played Will Ferrell's dad.
Yeah.
And his dad was like a ladies' man.
He's like the running joke is that everybody in the town might be Will Ferrell's brother because his dad just gets around, and no people have an issue with this in town. Everybody's just like, I mean, it happens. What are you gonna do? And it's like a small
this whole joke about Will Ferrell's character and Rachel McAdams' character, because as they're going through, you know, like these I guess competition final levels, you know, people are like, oh, are you guys brother and sister? And they're like, probably not.
Well, Will Ferrell says probably not, and Rachel McAdams always says no. Yeah. Which makes it even better, right? Because Will Ferrell's like, probably not. But she's just like, no. We are not at all siblings. It would make a lot of my shit weird. Not at all. 0%, you know?
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, like, this movie is so unbelievably absurd in literally every aspect it has. First of all, I don't even know if Eurovision's a real fucking show. If it is, I may start watching it just in the hopes that this level of fucking insanity, like the music in the background, and there's like a ton of music in the background, right? Obviously, like, it's a music competition, and not like full songs or anything, right? But it's got these sections of music, and the music is so crazy. It's like, well, honestly, it's sort of like if Saturday Night Live made a movie making fun of Cascada or whatever the fuck her name is. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's really like pop, Euro, techno,
it was
like
very,
late 90s funk, like weirdness shit, but with like a little bit of a modern bend. I mean, there's like a dude dressed, there's a group that is clearly making fun of like the like gwar heavy metal, like with costumes of like where everybody's wearing like giant.
There's a lot of different music tropes in it. There's like some K-pop
The Russian
stuff.
guy is obviously a classically trained opera singer. You know, so all of his songs are very like operatic. Techno funk.
It reminded me a lot of Pop Star, not in the way that the story was told, but in the level of comedic ridiculousness having to do with the music
sort
industry.
of.
Oh, Demi Lovato was in it.
Demi Lovato's in this.
And we first saw it, and I was like, that lady is familiar. Is that Demi Lovato?
Dan Stevens
Do I know
plays
who Demi Lovato is? Is that what Demi Lovato looks like? So now I know that I was right. That was Demi Lovato.
Yeah, that's fine. Dan Stevens plays the Russian guy. He is fan-fucking-tastic in this. Mikhail Persbrandt plays the, Victor. The guy, the like representative for Iceland in charge of like the music industry or whatever the fuck.
Evil dude.
There's like an evil dude, and there's like elves, and there's so much weird fucking shit that happens in this movie, right? And of course, the whole time it's just like it's kind of crazy watching Will Smith act. Because Will Ferrell act at his age. It's because I was thinking at his age. But because like Will Ferrell's older. I don't know how old he is, but he's like an older guy. But he is acting like in the exact same level as Rachel McAdams, and they're both playing like
probably
younger,
in their like 20s.
Like younger, still full of life, crazy techno music. And he's just doing this absurd shit. It's so insane to watch him act because he's so good still. And so I think when we were watching the thing, the screenplay was written by Will Ferrell. Yeah. And this is like partially directed by Will Ferrell.
Produced.
Yeah. So he has like a huge involvement in this. And it's really, really fucking good.
Yeah, it was surprisingly good.
It's a little fucked up against, like,
there was that.
European
it had humor in
people.
it. It had feels. The Rachel McAdams character kind of like low key falls for the Russian dude, and it was really refreshing because the Russian dude
falls for the Russian
dude. Yeah, I mean, how could you not? He's basically
fantastic.
He was basically like Russian George Michaels.
Honestly,
yeah,
I truly believe that they were like, can you have a Russian accent? And he's like, yes, I can do Russian accent. And they're like, good. Watch some George Michael music videos. Yeah. Come back in 20 minutes.
Yeah. But it was really nice because, like, obviously it's very clear from early on that the intent of the story is that between Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams, like, love was there all along, and they're going to get together at the end.
It's a love story.
Very clear. It's a love story. It's there. And it was really cool because they didn't make the Russian guy evil.
Yeah. No.
Like, her and the Russian guy don't end up together, which is fine, but it wasn't because he was evil or, like, had some sort of, like
he was,
like, agenda to it.
He was hitting on her and trying to get her in the sack and have her join his team or whatever the fuck nonsense is. Right? But, like, he's not, he's not twiddling his fingers in the corner like, I'm gonna get her. Like, it was, he was just like, she's really good, I'm really good, together we would be even better.
And
business.
She's beautiful.
Like, that's
go.
Like, business. That's how business works, you know? Yeah. And in reality, like, most of the characters, even a bunch of, like, side characters and background characters, get their own story arcs. Yeah. You know, where they get that, like, this is the way they were by the power of music, now they're, like, not assholes. Or whatever. Like, it's really fucking funny.
It was a really well-written movie. It was much better than I thought it was going to be.
A little self-aware, and it's just, like, a little fourth wall breaky. There are, like, definitely a couple of times when, like, and specifically surrounding Will Ferrell, where he, like, says some shit, and the only way he could say that shit is if he was talking to the audience or about some shit that the audience also witnessed with him, but, like, nobody else witnessed, right? So it's, like, it's a little fourth wall breaky, but, like, not too much.
Yeah, it's not
the
like
music
full
is
Deadpool
legitimately fun.
The music is fun to listen to.
Absurd fun
music. The story was fun to watch, and it was absurd, but it was never too absurd. You know, the jokes were grounded in reality, and they weren't mean
enough.
And they made sense to the story, and you kind of had, like, a lot of things that come back and
some
stuff.
of
So
them
we don't
were
really
mean.
want to give
Will
away
Ferrell
any
goes
of the
off
bits.
on Americans, like, as tourists.
Ooh, yeah.
Regularly.
Ooh, boy.
Let me tell you what, he's just like, you fucking American tourists coming in here expecting us to speak your language, just wrecking shit up, and you're like, wow, I feel personally offended.
Yeah.
That being said, I've traveled to Europe and the UK, and seeing other American tourists, sometimes you're like, we're gonna affect an accent today because we're not with those fucking assholes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people are just fucking dickolas over there. So I get that. But no, this was really fantastic.
Yeah.
Really good music, good acting, and it had the song competition stuff, and it had like a weirdly large number of famous people in it, right? And it had all the famous people and stuff. But then it also had the like behind the scenes, they're at a house party. We're gonna sing a song and dance because we're all a bunch of famous, sexy musicians and shit.
There was like a Pitch Perfect kind of a moment that happens.
It's not full like High School Musical where everybody's singing and dancing about the stuff that they're doing in the movie. It's more Pitch Perfect where like people are singing and dancing, but it's justified as like practicing for the big show,
or because they like singing
or whatever.
Dancing.
Yeah, or like they like singing and dancing. So honestly, it was about Pitch Perfect's self-awareness. This is really just like European Pitch Perfect now that we're thinking about
a little bit
out loud. But yeah, no, I think it did a great job. I think that it's one of those movies where if you're not a Will Ferrell fan, give this a try. I know some people are like not at all into his like sort of childish humor.
Yeah.
Is the way that it's always been described to me. Those people that are just like, I hate everything he does. Everything he does is shit. Like, I get it. That's totally fucking fine. Give this one a shot. It's definitely got some cringe in it, but a lot of that cringe is either, like, cultural joke shit, where they're like, making a joke, and then we're gonna remind you of it, and then we're gonna remind you of it, and like the fifth remind, you're like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be offended. I don't know if they are supposed to be offended. I don't really know what's happening here, but okay.
Yeah, it's both close enough to Will Ferrell's usual comedic style.
That if you like him, you're gonna like this.
Enough away
but if you don't like him,
if you're not a big Will Ferrell fan, you will still most likely.
Honestly, he's not the main character in this movie. I would say that Rachel McAdams is. It's definitely Rachel McAdams. Even though the story is told sort of about him, and the focus seems to be a lot on him, I think it's pretty obvious as you watch the movie that Rachel McAdams is the main character, and he is just like, he's Bucky to Rachel McAdams' Captain America in this.
Yeah.
You know, and which they do a really good job. Rachel McAdams fucking crushes it. I really want to know whether or not Rachel McAdams and Will Ferrell were singing in this, because
or if it was like
there's
dubbed over.
Just enough auto-tune, and both of them seem like they're more than capable, both like actor-wise and singing-wise, that like they might have actually sang all of the songs in this. Like, I would not be surprised if all of the actors sang all of the songs in this fucking movie. You know? Yeah. Like, it's that good. And so, that like, that's super good. The costume is absurd.
Yeah.
Like, the fucking, you know, all the stage performances, because it's, you know, it's that, like, techno, Euro kind of music. So, you know, they're, like, singing and dancing, and there's, like, people dressed like tigers, and, like,
there's, like
people dressed like fire, like, dancing like they're the fire, and there's, like, flamethrowers, and sparks, and fucking lightning, and, like, wings and shit. Yeah. It's the most absurd stage production shit. Everything is framed in this, like, hey, like, we're gonna set up all this stage production, just show up. You'll figure it the fuck out. You know, so you never get any of that, like, setup work. It's just, like, all punchline.
Yeah.
With regard to the stage production, but, like, all the jokes are actually, you know, pretty reference back to... This is another one of those movies that I came out at the end of and was like, they really foreshadowed the fuck out of where this movie's gonna go.
They really did.
You know? Like, it was obvious in hindsight, like, what this movie was saying and what they were doing. And, you know, like, another surprise success from Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah, surprise
sometimes
success.
Sometimes Netflix is on it, and sometimes they're just
Boy,
not.
let me tell you
this
what.
This isn't on it.
We've had a lot of, this was a fucking dumb
Netflix
decision.
movies are either, like, absolutely amazing, or they are just, like, garbage. Do not watch it.
Yeah. And this
There's
is a new
no
movie.
in-between.
This came out this year, so this is like a super new boy. It's PG-13, which I totally agree with that. It totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It has a 58% on Rotten Tomato. I disagree with that.
I would give this a good 5 out of 5. This was solid. I couldn't have asked for anything more in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, you know, part of me is reticent to give it a 5 out of 5 because that obviously treats to a level of success for this movie. But honestly, when I think about this movie, I put it in the category of like the first Bring It On, and honestly all of the
Pitch Perfect
movies,
Lonely Island,
and all those movies that, like, anytime they're on, I rewatch them. Anything that I want to like this movie immediately goes into my category of, like, oh hey, we want to watch like a fun background movie with some music at a party. This is on. You know, or Pitch Perfect, or Bring It On, because these movies are they're happy, fun, weird movies with plot and character if you're paying attention, but if you're not,
you also
and you
don't
just
have to pay attention.
and if you just look over, you're like, why is Will Ferrell in Wings? And you're like, oh, we're gonna go back 30 seconds, and you're gonna watch this shit get real crazy before he gets those wings up, you know? So it's like, honestly, this was like a really enjoyable dinner movie. We had a lot of fun. I totally think this is family appropriate.
Yeah, I think so.
You know? I mean, I think PG-13 is a solid rating on this. I have no fucking complaints about this movie, man. It was fun. Will Ferrell is just a fucking weird guy in this movie. He's so weird. And it's just, like, I mean, maybe he's way younger than I think he is.
I don't know how old Will Ferrell is.
But, like, it's just, like, the whole movie, I'm like, is this, like, a mask on a stunt double? How is he doing all this stuff? Like, good for fucking him. You know, and he looks good in this movie. Everybody looks fucking phenomenal in this movie. You know? I really enjoyed it. 100% really enjoyed it. 5 out of 5. Like, fucking check this movie out. It was so good.
Yeah. So did you watch this movie?
Yeah.
Let us know
if you haven't, tell us what you watch it, tell us what you think. Don't forget to like this video, comment below, share, subscribe, do all that shit, ring the bell.
That other stuff.
I've been John Norgrove, this has been Wife, this is Review Jive. This was Eurovision Song Contest, the Story of Fire Saga. That's the name of their band, by the way, is Fire Saga.
Fire Saga.
Yeah,
we'll see you next time.
Get weird. This is a weird one. Get weird. All right. Cheers.